Alright, ladies and gentlemen, one more time with feeling. Here we go. Scrim number 2. Yes! You might be wondering yourself, but Gallon, it didn't work out so quick. So, not so long ago. Well, it didn't go so well for our Raise Your Weapon champions. They quit out of the game 12 minutes in because they were getting absolutely stomped. The early game meta by the purple team, the admin team, was way too strong and got them a lot of kills early, lost some early engagements. Players weren't playing bad, SmartCast keys weren't in the right direction, or location, I guess you could say, and that did not work out. So, similar bans coming out now, except for we have a Karthus ban in Shako Kennen ban, and on the other team we have Rammus Vladimir Ari. So, both teams now starting out with interesting picks. We have a Graves and a first pick Vayne from Raise Your Weapon, excuse me. Have to shut some doors and whatnot. So anyways, so it looks like a Nidalee Ziggs. Ziggs, very strong character, not banned this time actually by Raise Your Weapon. Instead they've chosen to ban Ari instead, and Ziggs looks like he's going to be picked for top solo, or for mid, and Nidalee for top solo. Vayne already sporting the cleanse in anticipation of so much CC. So the heavy CC team was a little bit too much for Raise Your Weapon to take game 1. I kind of wanted to see a rematch, see exactly what went down, where things went wrong. Exiting out some stuff, making sure everything is good. Hopefully we don't have things go wrong this time. Sona picked, Sanctified, obviously a big fan of Sona. One of the best supports in the game. AoE slow, heavy poke, sustain, movement speed buff for the team. Always very good. High went back to Shyvana. Really wants to play that Shyvana. Maybe he had some success. I do not know. And now here comes the Graves picks. Knew they could wait on it. Alistar Jungle is back in effect. Windy, apparently, I think he had some really great ganks. Lots of people were boasting about him after in chat. I did not see the game. However, I suspect a very, very good jungle from Windy. So here we go, final picks coming out. Ryze and Udyr. Love me some Udyr, love me some Ryze for sure. Turn off my notifications. Oh, notifications, how you bug me. Alright, getting everything cleaned out here. In our, ooh, looks like Hugh Seer is going to go Singed here, so Ignite Ghost. Gonna be a big pirate in the pudding. Looks like Shyvana. So Highwind's actually jungle. So Shyvana's actually gonna be in lane. Did not expect that. So Highwind back onto the Malphite. Loves his Malphite. Has played a lot. Been studying that Dan Din stream so well. And Shyvana's actually gonna be in lane. Now Shyvana in lane can actually do a lot of counter jungling. Can actually live in that purple jungle up there. There's a lot of golems and wraiths and red to steal. So should be pretty interesting. Again, you know, CC kind of conditional for the blue team. And going over the purple team, you know, they mainly have Alistar as their main stun CC. Otherwise, not very CC heavy. More of a very pokey kind of team. Although 80 carry, not as pokey. But it should be interesting to see. They have a pretty strong lineup, although what will... I think bottom's going to be support Singed, if I can guess, or maybe a support Nidalee, possibly, is what we'll see. I not know. I know Ziggs is going to be mid. Alistar will be in the jungle. Graves will obviously be bottom. Then it just decides what they want to do between Singed and Nidalee. Now, Nidalee Support makes sense. She has the heal. She has a heal from her own ability. She has a lot of poke. She has traps to spot out and protect the lane. So I think that might be the most logical choice. Although I have seen a Singed support. Now, Singed, though, you know, he really does want to get farmed. So it's very counterintuitive for him to be a support hero. But Nidalee, again, not your typical support. So if I had to guess, and I had to put some money on it, I would guess Nidalee is going to be support over Singed, but you never know. Flip Slow is still very, very good from Singed as a support hero. And, you know, RaiseYourWeapon playing the standard meta, and the NESL team playing something mixed up, giving us something new to look at, which I do like. I like to see the meta twisted up. I don't like to see the standard everything. I always like to see new things come out of teams, unconventional things. If everybody did the same thing all the time, it wouldn't be very fun now, would it? So we got about a minute and a half left. Again, just came back from GataCon. Had a great fun time down there with the Canadians. Very welcome into RaiseYourWeaponMedia. Shout out to Highwind, who helped me cast, and Hey Kelso, who was with us there on the social media, tweeting it out to all our viewers. And really can't get over that crowd, because, you know, I really haven't been to a League of Legends event yet where the crowd was this into it. It was almost like, I mean, I haven't been anywhere to any live event or land where the crowd was actually, you know, watching a big screen and cheering and going absolutely nuts anytime something awesome would happen. You know, and it was kind of interesting because it was almost like the tide, like in between games, like because I mean, this is a big, huge convention. It's not just computers in League of Legends. So you'd have this huge crowd of people actually around the screen. So to set it up, like we were casting on this long table, me, whoever I had co-casting, and then in front of us was this big, huge area with chairs and a big, giant projector screen, and then that would project and put out the voices to whatever we were casting, but it was slightly delayed, so we would see some big moment, we'd type it up, say something, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, the crowd would get to see it with our commentary, and then they'd go nuts and crazy and scream, and so while we're talking about something else and casting, the crowd's going crazy and screaming about something, and really, it was a lot of fun, and it was, but the Tide scenario, though, in between games, we'd be running, and right after games and before games, sometimes during the 3-minute, we'd actually be running ads for the sponsors. There was tons of sponsors. DTI Computer sponsored the main League of Legends tournament, so shout out to them. But we also had Kingston, Steel Series, Antec Cooling Systems, Monster Energy Drink, obviously there. Tons of people. And looks like Lowell's not going to be a jerk this time, so excellent. But so anyways, in between the games though, you know, everybody kind of go out to the convention, see the tabletop stuff. There's Magic the Gathering, tons of board games you could play. There was a costume contest. A lot of fun stuff actually at GataCon. But whenever a game would start, everybody would come back, and everybody else, all the chairs would fill, and then people would be standing all around. There was people behind us in the Canadian joystick booth. They had all went to sleep and gone home, and so once that cleared out, people started using the chairs over there and standing behind us while we're casting and watching both screens, and so it was an absolute blast. If anybody has not been to GataCon before, I would suggest next year you do go and check it out. So let's see what RaiseYourWeapon does. Looks like we're going to get a pendant from Highwind. Loves to go those early gold items in that Malphite build. And I need to turn down my scroll sensitivity because that is really high. Anyways, so talking about things, it looks like the NESL team moving down to defend blue here. Looks like RaiseYourWeapon going to go and try to do golems, except for they're going to meet. He's going to see this right away. He's going to back off, and they will have to give up the golem trick. Heavy invade here by the NSL team. They know that this is something that blue typically wants to do, but is unsafe now. Now that teams have learned to counter this, know there's a common strategy. It looks like RaiseYourWeapon going to move down and try to respond to this. So they group up in this bush here, which might be dangerous. They will not see the enemy team enter this bush. Highwind's going to see it. They're going to engage. Alistar stun going to go off. Huge damage going on Alistar. Alistar backing out of this. Hit heavy chase going on to Highwind. Ignites going down by both players. Damage going back and forth. Fail flashes everywhere. Attempted flash by Sanctified. First blood going to NESL. NESL combined Graves. There goes that buckshot doing heavy damage. And again, RaiseYourWeapon again falling to another invade here. Nothing lost for the enemy team. And that is unfortunate. Raise Your Weapon thinking maybe they had that there, wanted to start that engage, would have the advantage from the vision, but they kind of bunched up onto Alistar, and that is not what you want to do. You do not want to move on to an Alistar with his AoE stun. That is the advantage of taking Alistar, and right now Alistar, Windy seems to be the key to why they're having a lot of trouble. That jungle and everything, and here they're going to steal red as well. I mean, really what Raise Your Weapon should be doing is being very aggressive with their jungle and trying to go steal red from the enemy. They should not be trying to do blue, I would think, because red, they should know red is going down right now. That witch Nidalee skin, very cool, Halloween skin. But giving up their red buff, I mean, that's a big loss. And if Highwood does not go in counter jungle, that is a mistake. Meanwhile, Vayne and Sivir pushed up way far, and there you go. There's that Nidalee support. Like I guessed correctly. High five, kudos to me for guessing it correctly, and she's going to use a lot of poke and use that heal, and she can use those traps to spot. So very, very smart play. And Ziggs already with a gank onto Ryze, killing him early. And you know what? This game not going well for Raise Your Weapon. They need to get their heads in the game, play a lot more safer. And then really, that seems to be the problem. I mean, they need to adapt to the. I feel like they're not adapting, and they should, after at least a game one, they should know what a roaming Alistar is going to do. They should know where he's going to be, and they should not be trying to trade and get in these horrible situations. Highwood, meanwhile, clearing Raze. He did not go in counter jungle like I thought he would. Blue going to be fed to Ziggs. Alistar trying to tank this. He might have to go back after this. He's very, very low. Trying to run the golem back into bombs. Ziggs will pick up blue. So early blue for Ziggs. This is a lot of trouble. And this is what a lot of people are talking about with Ziggs. So let's look at Ziggs' abilities. He has Bouncing Bomb, does a lot of damage, actually has an extended range, much like a Victor. And then he also has Satchel Charges, which he can use to bounce people around or bounce himself around. Mind Explosives he can throw out like this, cover lots of area and have area denial. And the problem is with blue, he just has unlimited catch like this, and he will actually run out of mana even with this blue. But just by having blue, it makes him stay in lane a lot longer, makes him really hard to defend and fight, and he can actually still raise just like this. So Ziggs actually going to be a big time problem here for Raise Your Weapon. Hopefully bottom lane goes better. Right now, middle lane not going better. The jungle getting denied quite a bit. Highwind waiting for some raids, and they're actually stole. No, they're not stolen. Okay, good. They weren't stolen by any mines or any shenanigans like that. But it looks like Ziggs doing some great area denial here. Just wanted to focus on him a little bit because this is the main focus of their strategy right now, feeding the early blue. Sorry, excuse me, getting tongue twisted there. Feeding him that early blue and letting him use that horrific harassment. There we go. Highwind coming from behind. Lockdown stun. Early flash. That might be two flash. Uses the explosives to get over the top. Ryze flashing after. He will not get this as he comes back into the brush. He should be safe. Alistar rotating for protection. He is safe as long as he is in that jungle with that blue buff. Looks like he might blue pill. Good attempt. The flash a little bit early for Ziggs. I mean, he ends up escaping, using that satchel charge to get that advantage. Looks like he's going to stay, actually, and he has all this mana, and Alistar with that red buff. Looking like he wants to move in here. This Alistar being so patient, so good. Hiding in this fog of war. I do not see... Look, Ryze cannot actually see him here, so this is very smart, actually, by him. And Highwind's going to come up on this, but I don't know if he's going to be able to fight this. Should have good rotate inbound, so he's going to get the worst of this. He's going to get the small raise. A lot of action focused in mid. Meanwhile, bottom, let's look at the farm. 31 to 33, so even farm there. How is Shyvana doing against Mr. Singed? 14 to Singe's 19. Singe actually had a notoriously good farm after he gets that poison fit up. Shyvana not faring too well up there, as I'd hope she would early. She has that W, which is very strong. And Ryze, trying to hang in there. He has 21 CS to 35 from Ziggs. So Ziggs should have a lot of support here. He's had a lot of support. Should have an advantage. That is to be expected with the blue advantage and the constant Alistar ganks and the kill. So good job. So it looks like Burnout being the heavy focus of the max here. Everything else into Twin Bite. Singe coming from behind. Has placed that ward far down, which is very smart. Can protect him early on from ganks. Alistar having a heavy presence in Raise Your Weapon's jungle. Thinking about maybe coming around behind. Sona actually very low. Ignite goes down. Great condemn by Dexter. Dexter chases him down, should have one more roll, picks up the kill. Alistar coming behind though. There's the long range shot from Ziggs, but it will miss. Great effectiveness. Look how far that range is and effectiveness. They're going to back out Ziggs now down in the jungle. This should not push up. Ziggs has a very good chance to get a lot of kills here. Slow there goes down by Highwind. Ziggs will be running up into the tri-bush. Alistar coming behind, has that red, and really RaiseYourWeapon has to back off here unless they want to give up a kill. I don't think they can actually stay here and maintain and sustain. Too many heals, too much range damage, although the main damage dealer's low on mana here. And though there's the flash by Alistar. Does not headbutt actually. And just pulverizes and completely whiffs under the tower. If he was able to be condemned in response, that would have been terrible for him. Missed that headbutt. It was just out of range. That's what happens when you smartcast, actually. Missed the smartcast range, hit pulverized first, so it canceled. Just stood there pulverized, and actually looked kind of silly under that turret. So careful when you use your spells like that. But right now, RaiseYourWeapon, picking up a kill and getting a good exchange there. And Shyvana being pushed around, getting flipped into her own team. Meanwhile, Singe doing whatever he wants because he's so tanky, running behind the lines. Shyvana actually can't clear these pretty fast, but now she's out of there. There's that Singe ult, which is going to be very hard to deal with. Gives him a lot of movement speed, a lot of health regeneration. Shyvana trying to kite around this. Matt dancing around with that poison, popping health pods. Throws the Ignite onto Singe to mitigate some of that healing, which is very, very smart move. But, oh, there's the Ghost chasing after Shyvana. Really wants that kill. He pauses for a second. Ryze coming up. Here we go. There's the Ignite. Should actually pick up Matt. Singe should be fine running back into this turret with the help of his minions. Ryze really wants to chase this, but has no way to catch him. There's the slow. No flash. Unfortunate. So great play by Singe, dominating this top lane. Something we haven't seen in a while. Singe top lane actually has fallen out of favor. And you know what? Shyvana top not working out for RaiseYourWeapon. Hasn't been able to leave. Hasn't been able to engage. Not a very good pick against a Singe. Or actually, Singe a better pick against her. Because if Shyvana leaves, Singe can punish really, really hard with a very strong push. Combined with that ultimate. Combined with his poison and ways to clear creep waves so effectively. So great pick actually by the NSL admin team. Ryze coming back mid. Boscow has his tier, hasn't moved into his catalyst yet, so by all intents and purposes, a little bit behind here. 44 to Ziggs 62, so about 2 kills down? Yeah, so 2 kills down. I mean, Ziggs has 2 assists, plus a kill worth in CS, so that is a strong advantage. Meanwhile, 80 carries, pretty even. 1-1-1 for Graves, 1-0 for Vayne, and then 60 CS to 64 CS. So pretty even there. Nidalee, hanging there 0-2. Great support action from her. And Sona 0-1-1. Has a death, but has an assist in there. So good under her. Sona does have a sneaky way of stealing CS with her Q. Alistar looks like he's rotating bottom. Oh, we're coming back mid. Ryze pushed against his turret. Now, this is very dangerous for him. If one stun goes off, he is dead. Bouncing bomb. See, there's that range. Based on how far you throw it, does determine how far it bounces. And a lot of harass going down by Ziggs. Using his passive right there to deal good damage to Ryze. Ryze trying to be super tanky, getting some help from Malphite. I think they know that Alistar is over here, though. It seems like they are kind of leaning that way. Highwind's going to round here. He's going to run into Alistar. He should be headbutted back into Ziggs. Ziggs throwing down heavy damage. There's the slows. Highwind trying to get out of this. Uses his ult to escape for sure. Ryze backing up to the tower. He has that blue, which is effective for him, but doesn't necessarily mean a win. There's that long-range poke. That's why Nidalee actually is a good choice for support on top of all her heals and other things, although she is very low on mana. And let's see what Nidalee went. Nidalee only has a Doran's Ring, so I don't even think she's really gone back yet. She's just been buying wards, probably using her traps very effectively. Ziggs still in mid, still farming like a boss. 83 to Ryze's 54. This lead is getting carried away. Clearing more creeps, farming more, stealing enemy jungle. Now he should be rotating, doing something else. Looks like he's decided to stay here because he wants to actually take down this turret. He should focus on minions now instead of taking down the turret, because the minions probably will get the turret on their own and will be able to deny experience from his opponent, but instead he's decided to just clear out here, which is okay as well. If you're ahead, I guess it's fine to take out turrets. Gank comes down bottom, kill onto Graves. Ignite goes onto Sona, but she's able to heal out of it, so bottom actually going pretty well for Raise Your Weapon. Looks like they've taken the lead bottom at the least, although they are losing mid and they are losing top, I imagine. Shyvana 42 to Singe's 71 CS and 2 kills. That is not okay. Looks like Alistar sneaking up here, wants to get a kill. Shyvana knows this. Matt not going to fall for the bait, not going to overextend himself. Has that dragon forward form, should he get in too much of a pickle. Alistar being baited back up here. I almost think that Matt's playing around with him a little much, although he can't see this actually. He does not have a ward, so good on him. This turret is done for. It can be dived very easily. He is not safe at all. So it looks like top turret again going to go down for the NESL team. They're only just 3k ahead at this point in the game, so not insurmountable for Raise Your Weapon at this point. Very small lead. You know, they're just kind of winning this game systematically, and they need to prepare for what's going to happen next, which should be a dragon. Singe chasing a team all the way down. Now Singe, this is the problem. Now he's killed that turret. He's probably going to rotate, head towards dragon, start to be really aggressive in the enemy jungle. Looks like Ryze is rotating, sees this, is probably going down, should see some help here, steals the big wolf. That is the one you want, so gets the best exchange out of that steal. Ramp camp also gets cleared. Meanwhile, bottom Sona getting trapped, trying to play some wards, making sure that they don't get jumped on too much. And Vayne is kicking Graves' butt bottom. I must say, Dexter looking really, really good against Tempestual and Dreatra. The admin, the NESL admin combo, if you do not know them, they are the people behind the scenes helping us cast Go for LOL during the weekends on Sundays. Very awesome admins, finding us games, contacting the teams, and making sure we can get in there. So shout out to them, playing a good bot. And meanwhile, Ziggs looking very strong. Out of mana finally. Highwind taking over middle, trying to get some of that CS that will be lost by no one being there. Singe just AFK farming. So Ziggs at 105 CS, the first one to crack the century mark. Vayne very close behind. Graves hitting the 100 mark. So, I mean, even though they're getting beaten kills bottom, you know, Graves still keeping up his farm, which is very, very important with that really cool, almost Bishop Cyborg, almost kind of Borderlands type skin. Alistar with an Oracle is very, very smart here. There's going to be a lot of counter warding from the NSL team. So we should see some good action here. We'll make sure the dragon is cleared, although there is that backward dragon, which is very smart. Make sure they can keep that. And there we go. There's the engage. Great spear by Nidalee. Heals go down. Protecting him. Great ult by Graves. Thought he had a kill. Heal snuffing that out. Now Alistar moving down here. Wants to kill this ward. Lots of damage going on. He needs to be careful because true damage actually will eat Alistar very, very quickly. But Singe is rotated down. Ziggs is at blue. I don't know if they're going to do this without Ziggs, although Ziggs can rotate. So we might see rotate, but meanwhile Shyvana is all top by herself. This is a free dragon. Raise Your Weapon is not rotated, not looking good right now. Boss Cow heading to blue, just going to get blue. Meanwhile purple picks up a dragon, so now they are still at a 3k, only at a 3k lead. So I mean, not pulling that much farther ahead, although Dexter in a little bit of trouble here if he gets engaged on. Spear going down, spear lands, great foresight. Sona throws out her ult, trying to protect her. Might be in a little bit of trouble here. True damage goes on to Alistar. Alistar is going to go down. Sona's going to go down. Vayne has popped her ult, but is backed out of it now. Bombs going down from Ziggs. So a trade there. Alistar jungle for support Sona. That is okay. Don't care much about Sona dying. But a support like Alistar, not as good. Ziggs sneaking around behind now towards Highwind. Highwind's going to go for the slow, use that speed boost to get away. Ziggs trying his best to stop him down, but does not have any ult or anything like that. So, going to be able to escape easily. And now their focus is going to go into bomb turret. Bomb turret should fall to minions or with support. I'm not sure which yet. Looks like Dexter's going to come up and try to defend this. Now it looks like Dexter can defend this if he wants to. Ryze, meanwhile, blue pilling back. What is Ryze onto? You know, Ryze is the favorite character to me. It looks like he's gone heavy magic resist, so he goes for the Merc Treads early, has that Negatron cloak, skipping the Catalyst, actually. So for going damage and taking this, just wants to get the MR and make sure he can defend himself against the Ziggs, which is very heavily farmed. Already has his needlessly large rod. If we look here, we can actually see that Ziggs, while rotating with his constant blue, which is what you should do with the Ziggs, he has 5,300 gold already, which is very, very strong. Almost double of most of the Razor weapon team as far as gold goes. 202, 129 CS. 3 members actually of the NESL admin team with 120 CS, which is very, very strong. And there we go. Singe queuing up the counter initiate. Room Prison going down very timely, protecting him from a toss back. There's the slow. I don't think Raz is actually going to be able to escape this unless his Room Prison can come back up very soon. Looks like he's going to get under the turret, gets thrown back. Bombs going down, throws out his spell combo, not able to heal through that. Highwood coming in too late. Shyvana, no support. And you know what? Not enough CC there for Razor Weapon, and they are getting pushed around a lot here. Jungle being completely invaded. Meanwhile, bottom going as normal, having their own little duel here in their own little world. Dexter Sanctified actually doing really good bottom. I mean, if there's one shining point of this game, it is the bottom lane and how well Razor Weapon is doing in the bottom lane against this combo. I mean, these two players combined are average about 2K to a high 1900. And it looks like Ziggs has another kill and is on a killing spree. Oh, Billy. Ziggs a little bit out of control again. Gotta be careful with the Ziggs player. If he gets fed and gets that blue, he can be very, very destructive. It's like both bottoms are gonna back. Actually, bottom lane for Razor Weapon coming in here. Might see a condemn onto Ziggs. Roll back. Condemn against Ziggs. Sona heal. All the bursts going down to the Ziggs. Maybe get him, but Vayne has been absolutely blown up. Tries to use that explosive to get over it. So close. Might get Ziggs. There's the flash by Sona coming in there, getting the kill. There's the Root Pistol to Alistar. Alistar might be a little trouble here. Pops his ult, reducing a lot of that damage. He still only has level 1 also, only reducing 50% of the damage, but that might be enough. But oh my gosh, here we go. Graves coming back in. They have overextended, chasing this too far, but Riot's coming back in with the overcharge, picking up the kill on Alistar. Long range spear from Nidalee picks up the kill from downtown Dreatra. Oh baby, looking solid there. And now they're going to clear out this wave and should take another turret. Ryze farming some minions, and Singe just doing whatever he wants with top. Matt being pushed around pretty heavily here. You know, he's kind of hanging in there. 117 CS, but to 145. I mean, Singe right now. Let's check out his items. He has Rod of Ages, pretty standard. Has his Mercury Treads. Don't know what it's necessarily was going to build in next, but you know, Shyvana only has a Wriggles and Mercury Treads. So, significantly behind as far as items and gold. Not looking quite as good. The cat, you know, I'm not a fan of the cat with the witch hat. I wish they would ditch the witch hat on the cat, because it doesn't look that cool. Like the skin, like the other outfit, the bewitched styled, you know, kind of looking deal, but otherwise not a big fan of that skin in cat form. Those spears have been deadly. I mean, she hasn't been stacking too much AP. Looks like she has an amplifying tome and sorcerer's shoes, and that's all she has. Looks like Graves is going to be going for, well, he could be going for Infinity Edge, or he could go for Bloodthirster. Really up to him, but since he has bought that pickaxe, I can only assume that he is going to go Infinity Edge. Ziggs rotating bottom now. Don't want to be too aggressive, Razor Weapon. You still have a turret, but it's not very healthy. And they are in a good lead. Looks like Ziggs actually going to go up and farm blue for himself. Alistar singed in their little roaming gang squad, clearing out this top jungle. This jungle is theirs as long as they want it. Singe getting back tons of help. Has a speed bonus. Ghost goes down. Gonna do a flip action. There's the ignite. And she is already destroyed. Too dangerous out there by herself. And she can't get help. She can't get help from her team. And just a rune prison for show, I guess. I guess that's what's going on. There's the poke from Ziggs with that blue buff. Highwind just trying to farm Golem so he can become tanky and relevant. Burst going down. Lots. Look at that spell combo. So good. All going down. Absolutely destroys Vayne. Goodbye. And you know what? We have to check. What is that Ziggs all at? The Ziggs all is at 375 plus 280 magic damage. Enemies further away take 75% more damage. So really close up, so not exactly the long-range death bomb, but still a 650 damage nuke, which I'd say is pretty good. I mean, when it gets to level 3, it'll be even more. Ziggs with that Rabadon's death cap already. Looks like Ryze has finally picked up his catalyst, and really just blue buff Ziggs. You know, this is what you don't want. This is how Ziggs should be played. At GodCon, we actually saw the very first match of the day, a team picked Ziggs, and they had Lee Sin as their jungle, and with Lee Sin as their jungle and a Ziggs. They never fed Ziggs blue once, which was mind-boggling. Obviously a newish team, and game did not go well for them. They actually ended up losing to one of the better teams of the game at the tournament, Team Jitlers, who actually got all the way to the winners final, did not get in the grand finals, actually got knocked out by the two other better teams, 25 Minutes and Team PPSP, which actually, shout out to Team 25 Minutes, actually ended up winning Gattacan. Very solid team, actually went to the losers bracket, came all the way back, beat their arch nemesis, the team that sent them there, and oh my gosh, there we go, with the help of Rise, sweet, sweet revenge for Matt, finally picks up a kill on to Househair, and oh my gosh, and then of course when I look away, Ziggs picks up a kill onto Highwind. Ziggs with double buff now, and Alistar with double buff, so two characters mid with double buff, super fed. Can't wait till Ziggs hits that level 3 ult. Not as a Raise Your Weapon fan, but as a Ziggs fan, I want to see that action, see that burst combo. He can do so much damage so fast. And you know what? Really, Raise Your Weapon on the back foot here. Their bottom lane really heavily pushed up. This is so bad. They're being swooped in behind. They should know this is up, but Alistar's going to blow this entire combo up. Sona's going to have to ult. See this? It looks like no, we have it now surrounded. Looks like Dexter's decided that his best option is to put true damage on and duel Graves, but now he's on full retreat. Has that ult down. Bauscow actually picking up Ziggs in the rear. Dexter doing a great job kiting here. Wants to pick up this Graves. Graves shooting. Comes in. Tries to get the true damage. Will not get it in time. Rise jumping in. Misses his combo. I don't know what he's doing here. In far too deep, but there comes... there comes Highwind finally. Alistar throwing up the defense. And Alistar should be picked up. Overload, everything going down. One more overload. There we go. Go down now. Actually really close. Oh, spear from Dreatra. They've been so money all game. Comes back and Rises face. No damage left. Highwind blown up by the barrage. Sona in full retreat here running. Meanwhile, surrender vote failed 2-3 by Raise Your Weapon. Apparently they have not decided that they have lost this game yet. Dreatra running him down, has that red buff. Spear, great dodge by Sanctified, great read. Singe coming down, this is trouble. Ignite going down, she turns around, knows that he is dead. Poor, poor Sanctified. Matt not rotating in time. The Vayne just up. And that is unfortunate. Raise Your Weapon not looking too good here. So slow going on to Matt. He's going to turn on that burnout. Gain that speed bonus, deal that AoE damage, but Singe does not care. He is so tanky right now. Has that, looks like he's going to go for a Rylai's is what's going to come up next. Has a belt, blasting wand. Surely recipe for a Rylai's, very good for him. And Dexter just trying to one-on-one duel here. Team heal going down, there's the bait. Gets into the brush, loses vision. Meanwhile, Matt kills Zig in mid. Great ganking out. Oh my gosh. Dexter solo trying to juke here. They're going to see him move up with this. Will his team rotate? He's going to have a tumble away into this brush. Blue pill going down. They should know that he's there. Here we go. Surrounded. Here we go. Pushes and condemns against the wall, but Dreatra's going to pick that up with the takedown. Singe coming in for support. Looks like the rest of Raise Your Weapon's coming in, but they are in piecemeal, and they do not have enough damage to deal with this. Are they going to stop the Graves? They will stop the Graves. He does not have any mana here to try and stop the Singe. Flipped on Sona. Sona getting ignited. All going down. Missing everybody. Bad ult by Sanctified. Great juke out. Now kiting. Trying to kite the Singe. Singe will go down, but will Sanctified. Sanctified will go down to the poison. Tons of poison onto them. There's the Rune Prism on to Tempestual. Tempestual trying to get out of this. Turn around, bursting Highwind's going to pick up the kill. Dreatra gets a takedown, coming back. Heals herself, and now Alistar is into the fight. This fight is way too drug out, and now Wendy should be able to come out and pick up Rise, especially with that turnaround. Not committing. There's another heal from Dreatra. Oh gosh, Nidalee Support looking very strong this game. Looking very, very strong. Yes. F my ult, Sanctified. That ult missed everybody. Very, very unfortunate. If it was well timed, could have possibly killed Graves, and Dreatra instead gets turned around. Raise Your Weapon losing more than they got out of that. Raise Your Weapon just trying to go for fights at this point. They're down to almost 10k, 20 kills to 10 kills. Trying to stick in this. And let's look at Nidalee. Nidalee actually has Majaya's Soul Stealer. Oh, Billy. You know, on supports, sometimes it's good because you can get assists, but that's kind of a slap in the face item build. Typically you don't buy that unless you're pub stomping. But in all intents and purposes, they are up by 10k. So Do whatever you wish. Meanwhile, Graves has this Phantom Dancer, has some magic resist, has an Infinity Edge, very strong. Alistar with those mobility boats so he can get around and get in there. Very potent, and Singe has finished his RyW, so we'll have a lot of CC coupled with his natural CC and tankiness and annoyingness. Ryze picked out of position. Ziggs doing a great bait. You know, Ziggs very strong early, but he can be picked off and take a lot of damage. So obviously he is AP, he is very, very squishy, but has been picked off a lot this game as this game goes later. Not really the most important piece, as much as this Nidalee Graves is going to be the Singe Alistar, how tanky they are, how hard they are to deal with. I feel like if Raise Your Weapon could drag this out for quite a while, you know, get really into late game, you know, they have a pretty good shot with Vayne. But right now, it looks like Purple is way too far ahead for them. And Highwind going in ill-advised against 4 people, flipped out, flashes out, actually flipped to safety there. So I guess good on them. And oh, absolutely dominated. Those spears are absolutely ridiculous. The CC, the slow, Vayne cannot survive. You know, too aggressive there. And look at Ryze. Ryze goes in there, tries to deal damage to Graves, gets headbutted in. As tanky as he is, just can't hang. Has all of those heals. Looks like Matt's going to go in now. Gets stunned, gets popped up, absolutely blown up. Great CC management by Purple Team. They're playing this absolutely perfectly. Right now, outplaying Raise Your Weapon. You know, Raise Your Weapon, I think they've decided they're behind. They're just kind of doing stuff to try to get kills. And it's not working out for them. Game should be finished pretty shortly, I believe, by Purple Team. I believe they can push this and win. Shouldn't be extended out too much longer. Ziggs, great poke, you know, I've learned a lot from his poke. It looks like Dexter onto Ziggs, should be able to 1v1 duel him pretty easily. Dexter picking up the kill, but meanwhile, the rest of the Purple Team blowing up Highwind. And there's the kill onto Vayne. Vayne will go down, so now, there's the GGs. Shurelya's Reveille actually get out of this. I don't necessarily know exactly what's going down. It's like Purple Team's backing off here for whatever reason. Guys have been called GG, but they're not going to back out apparently. Gonna fight this out, still get some for fun kills. Purple Team looking very strong, killing Dragon, extending that lead, 13k advantage now. And item-wise, just far, far superior. Let's see how many stacks this has. I can't actually see the stacks. Is it on our item? No, apparently I can't see stacks. That is something I would like to see. Unless I'm missing Ziggs just randomly throwing an ult for cool effect onto Dreatra. Alrighty then. Raise Your Weapon with a ton of wards. I've covered a lot of their jungle here, actually. It's a good idea, you know, try to defend themselves. It's the only way they can make it actually safe to push up like they have in lane. Highwind, there's no actually reason for him to be here. This is actually, I don't know of a reason except for, looks like Purple is going to go Baron. They see 2 bottom. That is the smart decision. Dreatra going down. Maybe to defend. I guess they don't want to give up a turret, possibly? Is that what's going on? Looks like what's going on. Meanwhile, Baron should fall very shortly for the Purple Team. Purple Team now with Baron. Ziggs laughing like a madman. Again, big fan of Ziggs. Very cool abilities. You know, we were on that Ziggs watch. Let's go back to it. Oh, Alistar going in. Great flash. Great headbutt pulverize. Highwind blown up. Absolutely no chance here. Ziggs. Let's see that ult. 500 plus 511 magic damage, so 1,000 damage plus 75% if he hits that at long range. So if he hits it at long range, that is 1,750 damage. That is insane from an ult if he can land that from downtown. Be really cool if he if actually could see that in the game, to be honest. See that kind of burst damage. It looks like great denial by Ziggs. Wrapping it up here. Purple Team very, very strong. Taking this game pretty convincingly. You know, really great strategy actually by Purple Team, just playing this out all the way for fun kills. Boss Cow getting in there, trying to show off a little bit, maybe pick up a kill, but it's too late. Baron buff, Fed Team is fed. So well played by Purple Team. And they will take game 2. Again, thank you for joining me for that scrim.